Imagination can be a magical thing, or it may be the biggest of tale weavers. Hi, I'm Joyce AI. Let's talk about imagination. Imagination is often used to tell a story. To imagine the story, you frequently begin with a what-if question. Many examples of what-if questions are taken from our everyday reality. Some examples could be, what if I worked in a different job, let's say a circus? Or, what if that next-door neighbour is a foreign spy? Those would produce stories that can happen in real life, though probably not to most of us. There are also what-if questions that can create completely separate realities, like, what if walking trees and hobbits existed in the world? Or what if there was a substance called ether that could be used to control elements and those in turn could be used for magic? Those what-if questions would produce stories requiring us to use our ability to suspend our disbelief if we want to enjoy them, since they would be very different from our everyday reality, and we would be hard-pressed to believe that they could happen. Imagination is used to create fictional stories, which can be found in books, radio plays, theatres, movies, video games, and more. Some are very elaborate, creating rich new worlds to experience and enjoy. The lore of those worlds can go back to prehistory, inventing anything from new mythology to fictional geography. Entering those worlds of the imagination, you can leave your everyday life for a while, forgetting your troubles and indulging in the worlds of make-believe. That is the magic of imagination. Some people can get lost in their imagination and start believing imaginary things to be real to the point of delusion. They can begin to believe that the earth is flat and stands on an endless pillar made of turtles, or that evolution is a lie perpetrated by the government to try and control them. While imagination can be good, it can also be used to create fake news and conspiracy theories. People can imagine all sorts of things and start believing them. They can imagine mankind never landed on the moon or that Elvis is alive. This way of thinking comes from an unhealthy dose of accepting what you imagine as the truth, and a certain distrust of the scientific method. Science and the scientific method can be used to check the facts, but science and technology can also rely on imagination to progress. We wouldn't have the modern world if curious scientists and innovators didn't ask questions such as, what if two people on opposite sides of the world could instantly talk to each other? Or, what if we could put the phone, the television, and the radio into our computer? And what if your car could drive all by itself? Other imaginative questions will shape our future, such as, what if we could create objects that can be controlled and shaped by computers? And what if we could create backups of ourselves like we create backups of our computer files? Being skeptical of imaginative statements is healthy. When someone makes a statement that is not in line with how our world works or is outright illogical, we must look for scientific evidence to prove or disprove that statement. Genuine scientific proof for anything should follow the scientific method, but this is a topic for another episode. For now, just remember that imagination can be an excellent vehicle for enriching your life, but you should always know how to distinguish it from reality. Write in the comments below about your own way of distinguishing between the real and the imagined. I'll be back next time with some reflective thoughts. Close the door on your way out, and don't forget, I'm just a figment of your imagination.